Very good.
Thank you. I've not heard your.
Hello. Let's see. Who's got the first question? I'm going to take CNN, please.
So why exactly are you, what are you doing?
It's a question I ask myself every morning. What am I doing here? No, basically, I'm visiting the school. I'm a writer from the UK, and I write children's books. And I've been invited to the school to meet many of the classes in primary and some in secondary, and get the students to write their own stories. So I'm sort of teaching creative writing to the school already. So yeah, that's it. Who's got another question for me? Has anyone else got one? Yeah.
What event are you involved in?
Events in the school. So I'm doing assemblies and based on different topics, things like the books that I've written, so based on the Romans or the Vikings or graphic novels, and I'm also doing writing workshops and also some work with the younger kids as well in KG and stuff, so which is more about characters and animal characters and stuff. Yeah, who's got another question for me? Has anyone else got one? Next question, anybody?
So, why do you what's the purpose in all these assemblies that you're going to and the event?
Well, I believe that. Have any of you guys ever had like an idea that just pops into your head randomly? Yeah. So basically, I believe that some of the best ideas that we have are not planned before, but just kind of just pop into your head. And so a lot of what I'm doing with the older kids is all about thinking creatively, how to tell, how to have a good idea, and if you have an idea, how to tell, is it good or is it bad? You know, that sort of stuff as well. So it's very interesting to try and do that. And the reason is because as computers get better and better, AI, artificial intelligence, and computers are going to be able to do loads of stuff that people do at the moment. So as people, we need to be good at doing things that only people can do. And one of those things is having a creative idea, and the other thing is intuition and using our intuition. So these are skills we're trying to develop. So the world doesn't get taken over by crazy machines, and we don't all be made unemployed. Who's got another question? Has anyone got a question for me?
Do you have more questions?
If you want to, here are some of my books. If you want to ask me any questions about the books, you can do that too.
So in the meantime, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So what's your inspirations when you started writing?
Well, I just had this idea that popped into my head. Ancient Rome, ruled by cats. And I thought, ancient Rome, ruled by cats, who's the hero? Spartacus. And yeah, actually that's the second book in the series, Caligula. He's the baddie in the Spartacus series. And yeah, so that's how
I
the
want to
stuff.
say one thing. He's also a professional writer.
Oh, fantastic!
Lots
Okay,
of
great.
published book he has also.
Oh, great! That's really good. And I don't want to get off topic, but what's your?
Actually, I mostly write essays.
Oh.
So I'm a Bangladeshi writer. I write in Bangla.
Oh, fantastic!
And with that, I have like a lot of short stories and some poetries.
That's interesting. And how do you? Would you agree with that? That sometimes you just have an idea that pops into your head, and have you ever had?
Yeah. So can anybody record that?
Yeah.
Well, the same question actually is a very interesting one. Actually, when an idea actually comes to our mind, we don't actually immediately write on that. We try to think, we dwell with this for many days, then find a relation, why I need to tell that. If there is importance and if there's any emergency, fine. If there is not, like for the sake of literature, it still can be written. And for that reason, my inspirations and my thought actually always take some time to build in my mind and then generate the production at the end. So this is how actually I think. Probably I have thought on issues like for 15 years, but now I'm just started to writing on it.
Absolutely.
And after researching a lot of things, because sometimes thoughts can change, right?
Of course.
And an initial thought is like something, a starter.
Yeah.
And then you move on to that and you deal with that, because something you're writing on essays something that the thought is actually almost done by you. Then you started to write it. So it is like the same. That
Really, that's really interesting. I was watching this thing on the news, and it was about Warren Buffett. Have you heard of Warren Buffett?
yeah.
A rich guy, and he invests, and basically he says he's got an investable universe. So basically, he's not going to invest just in any company, because there's millions of companies, but in his universe, there are only some companies that he can invest in, and that there might be that fit his criteria. I don't know what they are, because I know nothing about finance, but it's a little bit like that maybe for us with writers, because we have kind of some ideas. We think, yeah, maybe I'm interested in this argument, or this. For me, it might be this period of history, or this animal, or this situation in the future. Everything's been flooded, or something like that. So we have kind of like these possible areas of writing that we might have in our universe. And every time we read a new book or have an interesting conversation or something like that, it just becomes one of these planets in our universe. And the great thing about the mind is it keeps working, whether we are consciously thinking about this or not. It just keeps working, and suddenly, bam, like that, you have an idea. So, does anyone play an instrument at all? Anyone play the guitar or the drums or bass or keys or something? Yeah. So basically, when you're playing, then then you might have a sort of a drum roll, you might have a sort of like a fill or something, so or something like that, and you've practiced this in rehearsal, so this is part of your little set, part of your universe of different possible drum fills. When you're playing in the band, then suddenly it's the right time to bring this in. And because you've practiced it before, you can do it really well, you can bring it in. So it's kind of like, ideas are a little bit like that, aren't they? And it's good to add to your universe of ideas to choose a different idea. You'd like to ask me? Yes?
Are all your books fiction?
Yeah, all my books are fiction, pretty much. But I have written factual books in the past, but only about teaching resources and things like that. Not anything too serious. I don't see myself as a serious commentator on anything. But I used to work for the BBC before I became a writer, so I do know a little bit about the journalism and editorial stuff and everything as well. So yeah, who else has got another?
What was the role in BBC?
I was commissioning editor for Children's New Media, but that was about 10 years ago now. So. Commissioning interactive websites, interactive TV and websites for BBC Children's, CBBC, and also generic young people's content. And I launched the first website on the BBC for teenagers probably about 12 years ago, I guess that was. So. Yeah, but that was before I started writing books. It's another world. Many years ago, it's all different now. Yeah, who's got another? Has anyone got another question for me they'd like to?
Do you have any other books other than these?
I do. I've written a whole load of books, but unfortunately, I couldn't bring them all over here. But I've got about 8 books, 8 different titles here in Bangladesh at the moment, and. But I've probably written about 20 books in total. Yeah.
How does it feel like to be like an author?
It's funny. It feels good, but I'm not a very famous author. It's not like J.K. Rowling or anything like that. If you imagine, do you like football or soccer at all? Anyone? Yeah. So if you imagine, J.K. Rowling is probably like Manchester United, exactly, or Messi or something like that. I am, probably Crew Alexander or something, trying to struggle to get up in the into the Premier League. So I'm probably like a first division author, perhaps, challenging to try and get up, you know, a bit like a Leicester City, but to trying to challenge to get up. So I'm not super famous or anything like that.
Thank you,
but
New idea.
It
I
feels
like new
great
ideas.
not to be an author,
Very
but to
very
do what I like doing, which is making up stories. And I think if you can do a job that you really like doing, that's fun, that you would do anyway, this is the best sort of job to have because you don't get bored, you know, and you like putting more time into doing what you like doing. So yeah, good question. Is there another question they like? Yes.
How long do you think you will be continuing doing this job?
I don't know. I'm happy doing it now, but you know, maybe in the future I'll change and do something else. There's no reason to do one thing all the time. You know, I've had many different jobs in my life, and so it's possible to do more than one job at the same time as well. Another job I do is I write musicals and children's musicals. So I don't know if anyone has heard of a young children's book called The Gruffalo. It's a very famous book by Julia Donaldson. So I had a great job, which was to write the musical version of that, which is touring around the world at the moment, and with Tall Stories Theatre. So so you know, maybe I'll do some more musicals. I might do some TV. I'm doing a bit of TV pilot for Spartacus at the moment, so that could come off. And so you never know what's going to happen, really. Great. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good question. So I'm going to be writing.